my dear. I cannot put into words how deeply fascinated I am by you and your family. From the very first moment I met them, something inside me changed. Until then, my understanding of family ties and traditions was shallow. I respected them in theory but had never truly witnessed what they looked like when lived out with genuine love and devotion. Meeting your family opened my eyes to an entirely new reality. Watching how you all care for one another, support each other, and cherish the bonds you share has made me respect the idea of family ties and traditions more than ever before. What I saw in your home was not just a family, it was a living example of love, sacrifice, respect, and togetherness. Before I met your family, my perception of large or joint families was not very positive. I had only seen the difficult side of them, people fighting bitterly over property, siblings and relatives misunderstanding each other, or family members gossiping and speaking badly about one another. To me, family gatherings seemed more like arenas for disputes rather than places of warmth and unity. Because of that, I grew fearful of the idea of being part of a big family. I told myself I didn't want any drama in my life, I wanted peace, and I thought that meant staying away from complicated family setups. But all of those preconceived notions dissolved the day I met your family. Your family is different. I was struck by the way you all treat one another, with love, patience, and respect. You don't argue or compete with each other. Instead, you sacrifice for one another's happiness. I saw how before making decisions, you consult with your parents and elders, showing them honor and valuing their wisdom. What touched me even more was how your elders respond. They do not impose their authority with stubbornness, but instead, they listen, understand, and support your choices. This balance of giving and receiving respect is rare and beautiful. It makes every member of your family feel valued and loved, and it creates a harmony that radiates positivity to everyone around you, including me. Being in your home, I felt something I had never felt before. I didn't feel like a guest or an outsider, I felt as though I belonged. That feeling of acceptance and warmth is priceless. I love every single person in your family. Their kindness, understanding, and genuine nature have left such a deep impression on me. Whenever I look at your family, I realize that this is what a true family should be. And whenever I am with all of you, I feel a happiness that I cannot describe. It is the kind of happiness that makes me want to stay forever, never wishing to go away. I must confess something to you, my love. I think I love your family even more than I love you. And you know how much I love you, so you can imagine how strongly I feel about them. The thought of your family brings such joy and positivity to my heart. Whenever I speak about them, I notice a smile automatically appears on my face. Families like yours are incredibly rare in today's world. Sometimes I find myself wondering what good deeds I must have done in life to be given the blessing of not only you but also the love of your wonderful family. I feel as though I received far more than I ever prayed for or dreamed of. My heart had wished for a loving partner, and instead, God gave me you along with a family so kind, so united, and so genuine. After our marriage, nothing would make me happier than living with them and becoming a true part of this family. The idea of sharing my life with you and at the same time being surrounded by such love excites me more than words can capture. Thank you, my dear, for choosing me. Because of you, I now know the joy of being loved not just by one person, but by an entire family. You have given me something I never imagined possible. Every time I think about our future together, I don't feel afraid, not even for a moment. Instead, I feel a deep excitement, as if my heart already knows that the days ahead will be full of love, warmth, and happiness. I love you so much, more than words could ever express. My care for you, my respect for you, and my gratitude for having you in my life are beyond measure. You have transformed my life completely. Because of you, everything now feels brighter and more beautiful. Life, which once felt ordinary, has now become extraordinary. It is not only perfect, it is better than the best dream I ever had. Sometimes I sit and think about this blessing, and I find myself praying that every family in the world could be like yours. If every family showed the same love, respect, and sacrifice that yours does, there would be no broken relationships, no bitterness, no loneliness, only happiness everywhere. My love, thank you for giving me this gift, not only your heart but also the heart of your family. I feel blessed beyond measure, and I promise to treasure this blessing for the rest of my life. There was a time in my life when I truly believed that without you, happiness could never exist for me. I had convinced myself that my joy, my dreams, and even my sense of purpose revolved entirely around you. Every thought I had, every wish I made, every prayer I whispered, it was all tied to you. Day and night, my mind was consumed by your presence. I remember how I used to close my eyes and lose myself in fantasies of a life where you and I were together, where my love was enough to bring us closer. With every breath, I silently asked the universe for a union with you, as though my prayers alone could bend destiny in my favor. I longed for the smallest gestures from you. A simple text, a short call, even a few words of attention meant the world to me. I craved your presence the way a flower craves the sun, and I convinced myself that without your affection, I could never bloom. I thought my heart, my mind, and my soul were forever bound to you, incapable of accepting or loving anyone else. When you ignored my messages, I felt torn apart inside. I would argue with myself, wondering if I was asking for too much or if perhaps I was simply not enough for you. I cried more times than I can remember, but through the tears, I kept hoping that someday you would truly understand the depth of my love. And then, for a brief time, you did. You saw my feelings, you valued them, and you even respected the devotion I carried for you. But still, you could not return that love in the way I longed for. You gave what you could, and I cherished it, but deep down, I realized it was never the same as what I had imagined. I knew, even as I held on to hope, that a heart cannot be forced into loving someone. Love is not something we can manufacture or mold, it has to bloom naturally. I accepted that truth, but it did not make the heartbreak any less painful. When I found out that you had married someone else, it felt as though the ground had been pulled from beneath me. My world shattered in an instant. The life I had imagined, the dreams I had woven so carefully in my mind, dissolved before my eyes. Suddenly, everything felt dark and empty. I didn't know how to think, how to act, or even how to keep moving forward. My heart ached in ways I cannot fully describe, and my tears felt endless. Every breath reminded me that you had chosen a path that did not include me. Yet, even through the unbearable pain, I reminded myself that you had every right to happiness. As much as it broke me, I prayed sincerely that your life with your partner would always be filled with love, peace, and joy. After that, I tried to start again. I forced myself to focus on my work, pouring my energy into tasks so that my mind would have less room to wander back to you. I avoided romantic movies, I stopped listening to songs that spoke of love, because each one felt like a wound being reopened. Still, no matter how hard I tried, you lingered in my thoughts during every waking moment. But this time, I no longer held on to the hope of being with you. Slowly, painfully, I began to accept the truth, that you were no longer mine, and perhaps never truly were. It took time, more time than I expected, to begin healing from the inside. I carried the ache of your absence quietly, but I also knew that if I wanted peace, I had to let go. I learned to trust the universe, to believe that it held a plan for me even if I could not yet see it. I reminded myself to simply flow with life, to stop resisting what was already written. And then, as though by fate, I met someone new. This person was unlike anyone I had known before. From the very first day, they showed me kindness, care, and genuine affection. Still, I was reluctant to give them a chance. A part of me clung stubbornly to the love I had carried for you, afraid of betraying my own heart if I moved forward. But they never gave up on me. They stayed patient, gently showing me what it meant to be truly valued and cherished. They gave me love without condition, affection without hesitation, and slowly, I found myself opening up. Today, I am genuinely happy with them. For the first time in years, I feel at peace, not because I forgot you, but because I learned that love comes in many forms and sometimes in places we least expect. I now understand that the universe has a plan for each of us, a path that may twist and turn in ways we cannot predict but ultimately leads us where we are meant to be. I do not regret meeting you. I do not regret falling in love with you. In fact, I am grateful for it, because it shaped who I am today. A part of me will always care for you, always hold a quiet love in the deepest corners of my heart. But I have learned that I can be happy even without you by my side. The pain of losing you eventually became the doorway to finding myself again, and for that, I am thankful. Life worked out differently than I once imagined, but in the end, I see now that it worked out exactly as it was supposed to.